A 2012 Cinderella story.
Once upon a time, there was a girl named Cindy White. In her early childhood, Cindy's mother had passed away, leaving she and her father alone. Her father remarried a nasty old woman with the name of Ursula. Ursula controlled and brainwashed Cindy's father, and a few years later, he too had passed away. Cindy was left living with her stepmother and her evil stepsisters. Her stepsisters were Siamese twins and wanted to make Cindy White's life a living hell. They had one body, 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 stomach, and 2 heads. Having 2 heads on one body meant having 2 mouths, which meant double the insults towards Cindy. The twins' names were Agatha and Mildred. All 3 horrific women would make Cindy clean, cook, and they would never give her anything in return. She wore ragged clothing and never had the opportunity to take care of herself. Yet she was still beautiful, inside and out, unlike the women she lived with.
One day at school, all 3 girls got invited to a house party by one of the best-looking guys in the grade. Cindy was ecstatic by the invitation she received to go to the house party, considering she had a crush on the guy. When she got home after her long day of school, Cindy's stepsisters told their mom that they were going to the party. They were already picking out dresses and shoes to wear. On the other hand, when they told her Cindy was going also, Ursula demanded she stay home and clean the house. Cindy got discouraged and decided to listen to Ursula's demands.
The night of the party, Cindy's stepsisters were getting ready in their fancy clothing and makeup, while Cindy was left scrubbing the dirty floors of their mansion. Already, Agatha and Mildred were off to the party. 20 minutes later, the doorbell rang, and to her surprise, Cindy's godmother was standing at the door with a cape and a wand. Cindy wasn't a big fan of her godmother. She was sort of crazy and believed she was able to do magical things.
With Ursula, Mildred, and Agatha out of the house, Cindy's godmother quickly dressed her up for the house party. Cindy, being a good girl, was all skeptical about the whole thing and was worried she'd get in trouble. Her godmother did not give her a choice and told her to be back by midnight because her stepsisters would return.
At the party, Cindy was very shy until her crush walked up to her and offered her a drink. They spoke for hours, and Cindy was attracted to him more and more. After many drinks, the room was spinning, and Cindy was on the verge of throwing up. She saw the clock strike 11:45 and realized she needed to get home fast. She drank so much that she couldn't even remember her name. How was she supposed to run or even walk home? As she ran down the steps of the house, her shoe fell off. But since she was so drunk, she didn't even realize. She made it home, but not on time. She sneaked into the house, changed fast, and slipped into bed, making sure no one saw her.
Days and weeks passed, and Cindy's stepmother nor her stepsisters knew she was at the house party. She realized that she lost one of her shoes on the way home from the party, but she figured it had already been tossed in someone's trash can. Little did she know, a young, good-looking man from Ireland had found the shoe somewhere on the street and had been searching for its owner for weeks.
One day, Cindy and her stepfamily woke up to the sound of the doorbell ringing. A tall, slim man stood behind the door, holding a precious white shoe which belonged to Cindy. Ursula didn't care what he had in his hands. She instantly fell in love with him. The man asked each of the women to sit down and try the shoe on. Ursula grabbed the shoe first, but it was too small. Mildred and Agatha quickly stole the shoe from their mother and tried it on their right foot, but it was a bit too large. Although Agatha knew the shoe didn't belong to Cindy, she demanded that Cindy should try it on so the Irishman can stay in their house for a little longer. Cindy carefully slipped her slim foot into the delicate shoe, and it was a perfect fit. Ursula and the girls gasped and couldn't believe their sight. Ursula was so mesmerized by the Irishman that she didn't even care. She offered him some coffee and tea, and they sat at the table and talked for hours, both of them falling head over heels for each other.
After a couple of months, Cindy's stepmother and the Irishman had tied the knot and were moving to Ireland. Ursula and her new husband, as well as Mildred and Agatha, were on their way to a new life in Ireland. As for Cindy, she was already 20 years old by the time her stepmother got married, which gave her the right to live on her own and not to go live in Ireland with her stepfamily. Cindy was happy and on her own, and she finally had peace, and they all lived happily ever after.
The end.